Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining Coffee with Colleen, the EDC Coffee Chat. We are excited today to host Carrie Merrill and Tom Curry and Scott Sullivan, who we expect will be on momentarily. I think we'll start with Carrie, she and her husband own the Beaver Grocery store out near north of Forks. And then we'll move on to Tom Curry. So we'll jump around the county a bit, who's opening up the Barhop in Sequim. He also has, of course, the Barhop in Port Angeles. And then last, we'll move on to Scott Sullivan, who owns Strait Slice that currently is on Front Street, but he's expanding and he's locating his new restaurant, much expanded restaurant at the corner of Front and Lincoln Streets. So really happy to have you guys on and excited about the businesses that you operate and own. And we'd love to give you this opportunity to talk about them. And so what we're going to be doing is allowing them to tell everybody about their new or expanded business, and then also talk about some of the challenges that they've experienced so that we can all learn from that and potentially talk about what some solutions might be to make things easier for our businesses to serve our particular communities. So with that, we like to have each one of our speakers talk, and we like this to be fairly interactive if you're comfortable with that. And so if anybody has questions, they'll either raise their hand and I'll call on them, or they'll put their question in the chat and I will call on them that way. But we can get going then. If you guys are ready. Carrie, you ready to go?
I think so. Yeah.
Great.
I was hoping my husband would be here. Like I said, he's the better of the speakers, but he wasn't able to be here. So it's just me. Okay. So as many of you know, Lake Pleasant Grocery is out here in Beaver. It was built in 1941. So it's a very historic building out here. It means a lot to the community. It closed in September 2019, not because of COVID, but the previous owner passed away. So my husband and I were able to purchase it, and it went through in March of 2021. We opened the doors in July 2021 with just kind of barely, just the usuals like beer and tobacco and soda and chips. But the community has been just so supportive. It's been really amazing. We've really had little negativity with our community. They're supportive. All the other businesses are also very supportive. I talk with all of them. They all give me advice because we're new owners. We're not professionals or by any means, but we just appreciate all the gratitude we've had from the community. We do have big plans for the store. We want to get our hot food started. We want to do, little slices of pizza. We want to do hamburgers, chicken burgers, eventually growlers to go. So we have big plans for it, but it's step by step. It's all learning. But it's been a great experience for my husband and I. So any other questions?
Yeah, sure. So do you own the property? Then yes. You purchased the property and yes. It was already zoned for that use?
Yes, a commercial building. And so, yeah, we were able to purchase it. There is a gas station there, but we are having a really big challenge with that right now because the tanks, I'm learning so much about this. We're actually thinking of just closing the gas portion down, but the tanks are a little over 30 years old. They're single wall tanks. So basically we may have to dig them up. So that's kind of our biggest challenge. But before we close the whole station, I'm looking at getting maybe some grants that can help us, because it's just to get a whole new station, it's going to be like $600,000.
Wow.
So that's kind of some money we don't have, and it's still going to be money to close it. But it's really a need out here in our community. But, if you know, it is what it is. So, and then we're looking at the electric car station as well. That can definitely benefit the community and also the tourist, because this is a really high tourist area as well.
Okay. All right. And so, yeah, that's exciting. Are you applying for grants for the electric vehicle charging station?
Yes.
And that, will you charge people to be able to charge up?
You know, that's something I would look into. If that's what everyone else is doing, then possibly. If it's costing us money, then obviously we would have to charge. So.
And do you want to talk about the specific support you've gotten from different organizations and how it's gone getting permits in the county and that kind of thing? Because you are in the county, not in like the city of Forks. Yeah.
Yeah, we are in the county. So Rick Dickinson, who's on the call, he's been so supportive with us, helping us just with our business plan and teaching us kind of the ways and just giving us tips and always being there if we had any questions, which has been just awesome support. And right now we're in the process of working with the Department of Health to get our permits and licensing all squared away so we can start serving food and getting all squared away with that. So everyone's been really helpful. Everyone's been so supportive. It's just, there's really not any negativity, which is awesome in this kind of our, state of COVID and all that stuff. So it's been awesome. We've had significant support.
Are you seeing logistics challenges that we hear about so often in the news, getting products into your store to be able to sell?
Yes. So, and that has been a challenge, but it's been, I'm actually able to go and pick up product as well. We have, so yeah, I usually just go and I'll just go and pick up stuff. So that way we're for sure not going to be out of something for our customers. But yeah, that is an issue. And a lot of times we'll order something and we don't know if it's not going to be there until that day. So, so yeah, there is a little challenge of that, but everyone's been so far been very, very, very supportive. And yeah. So
it's really about the convenience for the people that live in that immediate area. And you don't have any pricing issues. Like I would think just demand. No. Okay.
I haven't had anybody make any negative comments about our pricing. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. And just every day I hear just, this is so awesome for this community. Now we don't have to, not that we're taking business from Forks and Forks is also so super supportive to us, but everyone's like, now I don't have to go to Forks. Now I don't have to go all the way to Port Angeles. So it's just, and everyone's like, I can't believe I came in and you had everything I needed. So it's really, really awesome.
Well, that's terrific. And I'm glad Rick, who's with the Center for Inclusive Entrepreneurship, is on. And Rick, you're getting some good plugs here. Do you want to put your information into the chat so that if anybody has any questions about their business, Rick really helps startups. That's his forte and what he focuses on. And we're really lucky to have him and Micah in the community to help our businesses do deep dives. Oh, look at him out on the water somewhere.
I'm doing my morning walk, so you outed me. Yeah, I'll put my information in the chat and get it there. I'd love to help any and all businesses that are getting ramped up. And I'll just put in a plug. I'm super impressed with Carrie and Jonas. They've done so much work and so many times we thought this thing was dead in the water, and then they came back. And so yeah, it's been quite the saga, quite the journey. So I'm very
Yes.
proud of you guys.
Thank you. Yes, it has been a roller coaster, but it is what it is. It's awesome. So,
Well, that's great. Yeah, I know I've heard from Commissioner Peach over and over again about how excited he is that that is there, and you're serving the community. I think everybody was really upset when the store closed. So this is just terrific that you're serving Beaver there. And again,
yes.
so it's basic food items, and you wanted to reopen the gas station, but that doesn't look likely.
No.
And so, and you were gonna get, I remember, a water permit or something like that, and what's driving that need? And then also the electric vehicle charging station you're trying to pursue.
Yes, so the water system is basically, it's a well, which is it's owned by the community. It has 9 tenants on it, and it has the store, the post office, the fire station, and then there's 6 other residentials that are on this system. And so what it is, it's just a really old system. There's a lot of, like, the pump is old and that sort of thing. And so when the store closed, what happened is the water system turned into the classification was called a Class B. And so when the store reopened, it jumped up to a Class A, which means you have to do water testing, because it's now serving, public use, even though we're not really, doing food or anything like that. But so we have to have the water testing and that sort of thing. So there's just a lot of maintenance that needs to be done to it. It's kind of something we inherited that we didn't really want to do, but we got to do it for the store and, the other 2 businesses in the residence as well. So,
Okay.
yeah. And
Okay.
we need, there's other things, like we need to install shut-off valves. We need water meters to make sure there's no leaks and, that sort of thing. So that's kind of what that's about.
And so have you been able to turn a profit yet, even with all the investment that you've had to put operationally?
Well, luckily my husband still has a full-time job. And so, but we both work as much as we can at the store, but anything we make always goes back in to the store. So we're not like there yet. We're just kind of in an incline, but I don't think we're gonna like go under, but but we're getting there. Yeah.
How big is the population you serve, would you say?
I would say about 250 people out here in Beaver. There's maybe 125, 50 out in Bear Creek. And then there's really nothing. There's not, I don't want to say nothing, but there's Shadow Mountain in between us, or Forks, and Port Angeles. So there's Forks, and then there's us, and then Shadow Mountain, and then Port Angeles. So that's it within that mileage.
Okay, well, great. Does anybody have any questions for Carrie or Rick? Was there anything you wanted to bring up about Carrie's business? If not, I think we'll move on.
I just want to say to Carrie, thank you.
Yeah,
for taking on that project. I have a friend that has property down the street, also has a well that used to be an A and now is a B. But that is a process, and if you need any help getting through that, give me a holler.
I appreciate that very much.
yeah, I know that the former Inner 4 Beaver site is under contract, and they're trying to get that back up and running. So it could be there's quite a lot of activity there soon, and maybe those would all be customers for your store. So,
That's the first time I've heard it.
Have you hired employees, Carrie?
It's getting worse.
Yes, we do have, my husband and I work most of the time, but we do have a couple people that help us. So, and
Great.
one thing that's so interesting is I see everyone's needing help, everyone's looking for employees, but I have almost, I don't know, 2-3 times a week, someone asking for a job.
Huh.
And we just, which is kind of crazy, but, and it's good, but we just don't have we're not there yet to be hiring a bunch of people. So, but that's a good problem to have.
Right.
So,
Okay.
all right.
Well, thank you, Carrie. Tom, you ready to go and talk about Barhop and Squim?
Yeah, sure. First of all, Barhop as a company turns 11 years old on December 5th. So that's kind of exciting for us. You know, we started originally as a craft brewery in a logging truck parking garage out behind Harbinger Winery. And, you know, it just kind of let it grow on its own accord, just organically. Opened our first, that was opened in 2010, but first operating year was 2011. Opened the tap room on Laurel Street, July of 2011, and moved to the railroad address in December of 2012, where we've been since. And we spent the first, probably 3 years ago, we moved the brewing operation out of railroad up behind, up at adjacent to Fairchild International Airport, and have been there since, and have expanded our brewery production, and actually have just put in a new canning line there that will be operable in December, and hopefully we'll be seeing 4 packs of 16-ounce Citrusonic, which is our flagship beer, sold in local retail outlets.
Great.
And we're real excited about that. You know, just from my perspective, you know, it's kind of like the old stock outage by the dip. I really took that same approach, have taken that same approach in business, and where there's, you know, where things are looking bleak, there's opportunity. And things were looking very bleak with COVID, you know, back in March of 2020. And we just really repositioned and pivoted our railroad operation, which was, you know, our flagship restaurant. We had really pivoted. We had just opened a new burger restaurant at the old Dairy Queen on Railroad 6 weeks before COVID hit. And so it was just retooling and wondering if there would be survival. And as we progressed through that summer and really, you know, got our legs under us and got our operation where it was, you know, fiscally acceptable, I started looking for other opportunities, hence the canning line that I just mentioned, and then leading us into the Squim location. I've always wanted to get in Squim, but, you know, it needed to be the right opportunity, the right location. You know, the old real estate adage, location. And when I saw that this building was available, we started talking with the realtor and then the landlord, and just were able to put together what I think is just a real win-win last December. We finalized the lease terms in January, and we started leasing the property in February, and started what's been a year-long renovation of that property to make it, you know, restaurant compliant. We will be providing the exact same menu in Squim as we provide at Barhop. We make our dough in-house every day with a proprietary 110-year-old Alaskan sourdough starter. We hand make our sauces in-house every day, and source what we think are the finest artisanal cheeses and charcuterie available to top our pizzas. Our beverage products, in Barhop, we were doing an inventory of all the products with, you know, flavors and so forth of beer, wine, cider, seltzers, sodas, blah, 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 you know, and we had like 60 items, different SKU items, but we'll be basically carrying the same variety in Squim as we do in Barhop. We will have 12 tap handles of Barhop. 10 will be Barhop beer, 2 will be cider on tap. And we're just really looking forward to coming into the community. I'm really pleased with how the finished project has turned out. You know, it's fun getting a blank slate and working with it. And we've just really enjoyed, honestly, the process. What we will be offering as far as dining, it will be in-house dining for fully vaccinated, and we will have outdoor dining for non-vaccinated customers, and we will also provide takeout. The similarities between the business, we're going to be running the exact same business model, operating model, as far as ordering and service as we do in Port Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
As far as employees, we are initially opening the Squim location for 4 days a week. It'll be Thursday through Sunday. And we will initially be employing 14 people, full-time and part-time, with plans to get up to 27 employees when we're open full-time by mid-spring, early summer. And based on what the summer tourist bump is, if it's consistent with Barhop we run usually low 30s, like 33 to 35 employees on payroll, not full-time equivalents, but employees on payroll to cover all the shifts. We anticipate an annual payroll similar to Barhop, and Barhop's on a pace to put 700,000 in payroll this year. So
Great.
the challenges of opening the new site was, you know, really I think it was specific to COVID. And I am always over aggressive in my timeline, and I know that when I set the timeline, and my staff knows that, but they tolerate me. We had hoped to be open by, you know, this summer, but that just was completely unrealistic. We got the plans done. It took, just because of the manpower hours, you know, with the city, just to process the permits. And great relationship with the city of Squim, by the way. Folks were very wonderful to work with. I think they have a really good process of getting the new businesses in that are wanting to, you know, develop a property, and we really walked through step by step with them and hit the ground running once we were able to run. And you know, got the permit in, and it was just backlogged with COVID. So once we got through that, it was, you know, we had operational delays to lining up contractors who had been lined up, having to get them back in the queue. And then, you know, once we started, one of our primary contractors came down with COVID, and so that delayed us for a couple of weeks. But, you know, nothing unusual, out of the ordinary, any different than what the rest of our society has been putting up with globally for the last 2 years. The key issue for us, and I think for anyone, is staffing. You know, staffing. And I think that it's, you know, there is just, there's such a high demand. I don't even need to speak to that. I think it's obvious to everyone and anyone who is running a business. Supply chain, definitely an issue, one that's been very manageable so far. You know, we've had price increases, we've had labor price increases. We have intentionally not increased our pricing at Barhop in Port Angeles since January of 2020 because we felt that it was, you know, we're in it with the community, and people, you know, not just the businesses, but most people are undergoing difficult times. And so we made the commitment to hold those prices. And I'm not sure how long we're going to be able to do that. You know, normally it's an annual increase to offset labor, and labor costs have gone up 10% since COVID started. So, excuse me, not since COVID started. Labor costs have gone up 10% year over year, 2021 compared to 2020. So on the supply chain, one of the things that has delayed, most recently delayed the open, is getting our point of sale systems in. You know, the whole talk about microchips not being available. Well, the microchips drive the point of sale system. So we finally got them last week, and we're targeting an opening date for next Thursday.
Great.
So
that's terrific.
Yeah. It's, you know, recommendations for other new businesses that are opening their doors. You know, I do believe that this is a good time. It's, you need to make sure you've got the resources to get through what are really unusual circumstances, but there are good opportunities available. And, you know, if you're able to put the right structure in place, you know, I think you can do well. We have intentionally chosen not to be in the real estate market as part of our original business plan. We lease the properties that we're in. We look for solid long-term leases with landlords that, you know, we can add value to and add value to the community, and that frees up our free cash flow to invest in, you know, equipment, in our workforce, and enables us to expand. So, you know, that's
so that's an area that I've spent a lot of my career in, is trying to help people decide should they purchase real estate or should they lease. And so one of the things that's a big consideration, especially for a restaurant, is the tenant improvements. And so, you know, since you already owned a restaurant, you have a lot of experience in that space, but has that been a challenge, or was there a lot of equipment available for you to get because other restaurants were closing? Were there opportunities for you, or did you buy all new? And can you share like what your total investment amount is?
Yeah, in this in the Swim location, we purchased everything new. We got in, you know, before the supply chain crunch and before prices, you know, just really went through the roof. So as soon as I did the lease, having the operation in, you know, we sketched out a floor plan to make sure that the majority, you know, that we would have the right fit, but we went ahead and executed the purchase of the equipment. I believe it was late January, early February. And so we avoided all the supply chain issues and the price increases, kind of anticipating that they may come. And then, you know, the the build out, we're probably just shy of 200 on the project.
Yeah. So for a small business entrepreneur thinking about starting up, it really does take quite a bit of capital to get going.
It does to do a turnkey restaurant.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
Colleen, I started the business with $10,000 and I was working full time.
Mhm.
I was working a pretty intense job. The first 8 years I was, owning Barhop, and I mean, very labor intensive. And for the first, I think, 4 or 5 years, probably 4 years, I brewed the beer, and it was marginal at best. And the smartest thing I did was fire myself, as brewer. And so we've got a local brewer who is from Sequim, Josh Blue, who is doing a great job. So excited with the products he's putting out. And during COVID, we opened Hangar 19, which is a little panini restaurant and tap room up at the brewery. And he's got some really unique small batch one-offs that you can only get up there. And that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've been up there. That's a fun place to check out for people.
I feel so lucky. I mean, seriously, we've got the waterfront location and we've got the airport location. And, now, honestly, that location in Sequim, I had been looking at for 6 years and just never were able to.
For people that don't know where that is, I would guess most everyone does, but can you describe its location?
The Sequim location is 845 West Washington Boulevard. It's the yellow building just to the east of Costco on the south side of Washington.
On the roundabout.
Yep.
Yeah, on the roundabout at Costco. Yeah, it's a great location.
Rumor has it it's the most heavily trafficked intersection in Clallam County, but I haven't verified that.
Okay. I see Matt Hewish, the new city manager of Sequim, is on with us. Maybe he would know, but he hasn't been in Sequim that long, so I won't put him on the spot. Okay, well, hey, does anybody have any questions of Tom? I know people are just really excited.
Good. We're very excited.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you. Yeah, it takes a true entrepreneur to open up a new business during COVID, and especially if it takes a long time for you to get it up and running, those tenant improvements done. So good for you. That's great.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, if anybody has any questions, I think Tom will stay on a bit, right?
Yep.
You can put those in the chat and we can get to them in a bit. But next up is Scott Sullivan, who owns Strait Slice. So Scott, I see you're on there. Do you want to share what you're doing and the business that you and your wife own, and talk about that, and then also the challenges that you've experienced and any solutions that you think you might have? And if you want to share your screen for menu or anything like that, you can go ahead and do that.
Hey, Colleen, can Tom put his contact information in the chat?
Sure.
Yep.
Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, good morning. So my name's Scott Sullivan. I own the Strait Slice Pizza Company based in downtown Port Angeles. We've been open for 6.5 years now. We opened up in 2015. Prior to that, I've been a professional photographer for 15 years. I traveled internationally shooting snowboarding and surfing. And I'd lived throughout the country, different places. I originally grew up in Rhode Island, in the heart of the pizza mecca, which is New England. And we kind of lived different places throughout the country: Salt Lake City, Southern California, Seattle, Olympia. And we settled here after we had our first daughter. We had a lot of friends out here that I'd met through traveling, and I really liked the people, and I really, the town of Port Angeles really appealed to me. In my travels through the country, I recognize that this is one of the most geographically beautiful places that the United States has to offer. I still feel like it's something that people don't really, they're just kind of catching on to, but to the ability to have snow-covered mountains year-round down to an ocean surrounded by forests is really, really a unique geographic situation in our country. So it really attracted me. I'm a lifelong surfer and snowboarder, and we have some of those things here that I'm involved in that community as well, quite a bit, working with LibTech still a lot. I still do quite a bit of photography stuff as well, in addition to my pizza. So the photography industry had begun to change with the arrival of things like Instagram and the digital world. So I had kind of made a decision to exit from that to be able to be home with my kids more. My second one was born in 2009. And I was searching for something to kind of transition and to do. I had worked in restaurants for most of my early career as a photographer. So I had a knowledge of how to get in and do something like that. I also knew that there was no pizza to the standard of which I like. I'm a very passionate pizza person, and I have been my whole life. And doing the East Coast hand tossed, like New York style pizza available by the big slices or pies just was not a thing that was out here. I saw that as an opportunity to do something like that. I started testing the waters in 2014 and kind of just seeing if it was a path that I wanted to go down. I would say it was never my dream to own a restaurant, but the universe kind of encouraged me in this direction, and I said to myself, I'll give it 3 years, and if it works out, then great, and if I don't like it, I could give myself license to walk away from it.
That's smart.
Yeah, so it's exceeded everything that I thought it would be, almost right from the get-go. I thought I would be back there working on my photos and running the place by myself, and that didn't happen. So that's a good thing. We've been growing a bit. We're still a small business. We do our one thing. We make pizza. That's what we do. I don't want to overcomplicate things. I have a very great core crew with 3 others that have been with me for over 3 years. And they're also, they're originally from the East Coast, New Hampshire, Delaware. And they are also really passionate about pizza. So we're super into it. We love pizza. This is kind of what we do. And we connect with a lot of the people out here that were originally from Brooklyn, from Philadelphia, from Jersey, from the East Coast. We have a great relationship with people that are really into the pizza. So everything we do is we make, like Tom was saying, we're a similar thing. We make all of our dough in-house, all of our sauces. We use a ton of ingredients from country air, organic ingredients that are cut fresh right as they're going on the pizzas. I do most of the supply shopping myself. I'm very involved. I cook regularly. My wife works the counter regularly, and we do the books and all this stuff. And I am always hunting and shopping and doing all that stuff myself. I have one distributor that I use, which is Peterson's, for some dry supplies, and some beverage distributors too. But we're really involved. I come from a DIY ethic of just getting in there, doing things yourself. I think we dove in a bit blindly, but that's kind of how I do things. I kind of take a guerrilla marketing approach, and I just dive in and I deal with whatever it is and make it work. I like the excitement of that. It's an incredible learning process. And it's something that's been, I mean, it really has just been a learning process. And now we're into a new phase where after once, let me pause for a second here. So when I first got going, I got a rental space from Lisa Del Guzzi. And throughout that whole time, I kind of had been keeping my eye open to find a building to buy. Because for me, I believe that I could run this restaurant for 10 years. And if I don't own the building, then at 10 years, I don't really have much to do with it. I could maybe sell it for, I don't even know. I just don't really, it wouldn't be like, hey, $500,000 for our business without the building. So it was really important to me to try to find a space of my own and something that wasn't too crazy and big and out of control. There's a lot of these 4,000 square foot buildings with decrepit basements in Port Angeles, and I didn't want those. And right when COVID started, I was driving by the Dynasty on the corner of Lincoln and First, and through those dark tinted windows, I saw a for sale sign on the Dynasty building. And I immediately pounced on it and started inquiring about it. And that led to 3 or 4 months of doing inspections and just hemming and hawing with myself over getting into that. And I ended up buying the Dynasty in July of last year. And then for the next 6 months, I was virtually by myself doing all of the demolition work. I refused to let anybody in because of the absolutely disgusting condition of it. When I tell people like to joke, say, because the light pole blocked it, they call it nasty Chinese. And I just say, you don't understand how nasty it was, how rat infested it was, and how gross the whole place was. So I am blood, sweat, and tears into that place, and nightmares and everything from restoring the Dynasty building. I am about 1 week away from opening right now on a small scale. I'll be keeping my current location open through end of December, and that will be our primary business. And next week, I'm going to start making pizzas out of there for things like our delivery orders and our online orders, and just getting the kinks worked out. I've been taking my time with it. I believe that when they say time is money, it goes both ways. And when you give yourself time, you save money. So I've been slowly putting things together. I work with a pretty tight budget, but I work really hard when I'm home, finding pieces of used equipment, finding online auctions for foreclosures. And I hustle and I hustle and I drive and I go find these things, and it's all coming together now. And I'm really, really excited about it. It's been quite a journey with the Dynasty building. I'll say that. It's been really exciting, and I go in fits and starts with the energy of it. I'm dealt with a lot of issues downtown with the homeless and the drug addicts, and I've been broken into. And that corner right there on Lincoln and First is a real problem for our downtown business association. The businesses like Lola's and the flower shop and the donut shop and people over by Meta, like a lot of us that I speak with the other owners, and that's the real kind of thorn in my side right now, for all the work that I feel like I'm doing and these other small businesses are doing. I feel like our safety and for the customers and for the people that want to be down there is kind of being put second to allowing the parking lot across the street by the Texaco become a homeless camp, and people and just the effect that part of our community is having on our businesses has been very disheartening for me. When I have been working so hard and spending so much money and spending so much of my time, because my philosophy is that in this crazy world, you can pick your battles and try to change things, and you'll have people that will try to change things on a national scale, right? And then a statewide scale. But I really believe that working within our community and everybody doing their own little part to make their community better, and if everybody's doing their own thing to do something, that we will get better. And I think starting from community, that then goes out into the even bigger scene. And if people are doing that nationwide, then we really have quite a beautiful thing going on. But so I love Port Angeles, and what I want to do is just do my part to help clean up this one little corner, right? And I want to bring something there. I want to bring a bright space with colors and lights and music and pizza and art. And so when people turn on the 101, which is the busiest corner right there in Port Angeles, they're seeing this, instead of this old decrepit Dynasty building, now there's this nice bright space, and then Eloise over at Lola's has her little beautiful space that she's doing, and then the donut shop. And then, we're trying to bring energy to this little corner right here. And that's kind of what we do. So it's been hard to watch the homeless and the crime scene be able to take over our downtown business district like that for me. But that being said, I'm moving forward. I have some good days and bad days of wanting to be down there. But I'm on a path now where we're going, and we'll be opening, and I'm really excited to do that. So by the end of the month in December, I plan to be like fully operational up there. I would really like to see some more kind of involvement from the city and from the police and the code enforcement, and to make this a space where people want to go down to. And I don't mean my space, I mean the downtown space. When we opened in 2015, I really felt that there was a momentum with the downtown business community that was happening. The Gastropub had opened, Moss had opened, Bada had opened, Easy Street Coffee. And for the first 3 years, like, there was a palpable energy that you could feel. Families were coming down. People were excited to come down and be there. We were on, was that Outdoor Magazine? We were like, us in Chattanooga were the 2 best outdoor towns to live in the country. We had a really nice momentum going that I really feel has gone the other direction. And I can speak for other owners down there as well with our downtown area. And I know we're in tough times with COVID, but you can't blame everything on COVID. I travel a lot. I travel all over the place. I have my whole life. I know what goes on in other towns, and I see kind of what's happening to our space. And I think that's my biggest concern, really, is what we can do to attract people down there. I see us investing in things like the Performing Arts Center, the Casino Hotel. There's all the Red Lion remodel, but it's like we're investing in this stuff to build it up, but then people come here and they go, ooh, I don't feel safe. I don't want to go walk down by Hollywood Beach. I don't want to walk in this alley. I don't walk in the street because there's a guy screaming at the top of his lungs that he wants to murder somebody. My kids don't want to go down there. This is the issue for me. And I understand we have there's a lot of social resources here, and hey, listen, I'm an empathetic person, and I come from that background, but there is a situation happening down there where people that aren't from here and people that are living outside of the norms of our society, they can live like that if they want. If they have a choice and they want to, yes, there are people that are legitimately homeless, but there is a lifestyle culture going on downtown that is destroying the quality of our downtown from the Safeway on down. And they can live however they want, but I believe that they still need to adhere to basic norms and values that the community lives by. You can't go smashing people's flower pots. You can't go defecating in their doorways. You can't go on their wall. You can't throw your needles everywhere. You can't live in a parking lot across next to the Texaco for a month in a car selling drugs. It's like, you can't do these things. So it is the biggest issue for me right now. And I know we're here to talk about other things, but this is kind of what is on my mind, and it's what is on a lot of the minds of the other business owners downtown.
It's a problem, of course, in many, many cities across the US, and our cities are not exempt from that. And between drug addiction and mental health issues, it's a multifaceted problem. And I know have you contacted Peninsula Behavioral Health, or, the different agencies within the, like PBH, to talk to them about this, or the city police department?
I've talked extensively with the police department. I've talked with the code enforcement. I've talked with members of council. I have not talked with PBH. I'm really busy. I work all day. I cook. I run the restaurant. I go after. I work on the building. I have a family. I do what I can. But I can only do so much, and I'm often left standing there saying, why is it my job to come down here and do what the police and the code enforcement should be doing? And why should my days be getting ruined because I walk in and there's somebody took a poop in my doorway overnight? Ugh. And I'm not joking. This is
I'm sure it's awful. And again, it's an issue that I think the city council has been talking about for quite some time, and that they're trying to grapple with. And I know a lot of different businesses in the downtown core have been talking about this as a problem. And I'm sorry that it's, as a small business owner, that it's exciting that you have this new expansion happening. And I think people are really pleased that you're investing your time and your wealth into a new community asset. And I think, our intention is here to celebrate that. And, it's something that is a much broader issue that affects so many people, from small businesses in the downtown to families, parents of people that have, that are really struggling. And so, anyway, I just want to share with you that I feel your frustration, and it's something that, is going on in multiple cities. And I don't know how it's affecting Forks, but I know certainly it's an issue in Sequim and Port Angeles. But I
do love I love the town, and that's just what I want. I see this, we're out of a tipping point. It's a seesaw, and it is. I look at Seattle and I look at Portland and Eugene and these places, and to me, they're out of control. And we still have the ability to kind of manage this, I believe, until it kind of, so it doesn't get beyond a tipping point. That being said, I'm not here to be negative, but I am here, and I do talk to a lot of people. And this is me talking to people as well, and also trying to give feedback and my perspective of things. This is my main thing, because I'm building something that I just want to make this downtown area a great area where people can come, and families and the tourists can come through and go, yeah, this is amazing, because it's, like I said, this really is a gem of a town and a location.
Do you know what's happening, if there are any plans with that Texaco location across from you?
So I was instrumental in getting those fences put up, because a large homeless camp was growing in there. So I called the owner in California. He's part of a conglomerate group. They own multiple gas stations. They basically said that COVID had slowed them down, so they were putting it on a hiatus. And when COVID's over, they were probably going to sell it.
Okay.
And so they had their company come out from Tacoma and put up the fencing. But no, there is no, I don't know of any other plan than that vague bit, which is an incredible spot, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's, but aside from that, I mean, we have, we're doing well. We had a, you know, summer was super busy. We had issues like everybody with employees, and we're still not open our full 7 days a week, but we have a great crew. And so we do what we can do to stay busy. We're a small, basically a takeout place right now. So we don't, right now we don't have to deal with the issues of having a dining room and having people in there. So people come and get their stuff. From the get-go, myself and my staff have been very dedicated to masking and keeping things, you know, clean and sanitized for COVID. 98% of the customers that come in are great. There's a 2% that comes in and they think that we're doing it to them, or that Port Angeles is doing it to them, or that Inslee's doing it to them. And they don't get that this isn't like a Washington thing. This is a, you know, and we're just
National issue.
and we don't like cooking with masks on by a hot oven, that's for sure. But we just do it, and we're really dedicated to that. And most of the people are great. Moving to the new space, I have a nice dining room, but we won't be opening that probably until the spring. Once we get going, we're going to have draft beer up there. We're going to have some live music. I excavated the parking lot and I built a big outdoor seating area. So it's really going to be a great space. We're really looking forward to that. It's just so volatile with the news and the things that are happening with COVID right now. It's so unsure. We all thought we were coming out of this in June. And now, even as with the news from the last few days, it's like, wow, where are we going with this now? So, so that's tricky, you know, and, you know, based on what Tom had said too, which I agree. It's like, I had a thing in my head where I think back to the Great Depression, and I'm like, and I remember these stories of people that took risks during those times were the ones that ended up, you know, succeeding. You know, it's a scary time to invest in something. It definitely is. But it's a chance of opportunity, and you either get it, and it's like, if it all goes to hell, then then we're in a bigger situation, you know. But I think this is a great time to invest right now. And
well, so I just really wanted to give you all an opportunity to share what you're doing and how your businesses are expanding. And thank you for investing in your community and providing the great services that you do for your community. So it is after 9 o'clock. So I am going to stop the recording here.